Okay, artists. Now, whether or not you need a review from class, or if you perhaps missed class, we're going to talk about 2-point perspective. Now, this is different from 1 point, where the fundamental, crucial part is that in 1-point perspective, all parallel lines running away from you in an image, such as the roof of this building, its foundation, even this door frame, right? All parallel lines report to a single vanishing point if they're running away from you into the distance, right? Now, the difference is with 2-point perspective, you get 2 vanishing points on the horizon line. They're still on the horizon line, they always have to be, but now you have 2, and there's a very particular time you use this. It's when, unlike here, one part of an object is closer to you than the rest with 2 planes running in different directions. In other words, a corner. If you're dealing with a corner nearer you than anything else, you've got 2 planes, one running away from you to the right and one running away from you to the left. And that's when 2-point kicks in. And this is super helpful because say you have a picture where there's just garbage strewn everywhere, right? Well, 1-point perspective means you might have an object like a box with one face facing you, like so, but then you might have another one where the nearest thing facing you is a corner, and now we might need 2 vanishing points. To help ensure that there is a logic and a level of realism to these 2 planes, one here, running away in separate directions, all right? So that's when you use 1-point and 2-point perspective, all right? It helps ensure a level of realism and perspective applied to all objects, whether or not they're facing you directly or slightly rotated at an angle, okay? So the idea is this. Let's get a little more complex. I can put my vanishing points anywhere. I can choose where my 2 vanishing points go. But on a horizon line, the closer those 2 vanishing points are, like right here, if I'm going to make an object, take a look at how extreme the angles are going to be on this warped cube I just drew, and how much more relaxed it'll be if the vanishing points are further away from the object we're drawing. You can see that those slopes, those angles, are really drastic when they're close and a little more relaxed in the distance. So if you don't want too much distortion warping your object, make them further away. You could even make them off the page. And that's how they work. So when I apply it, if I'm going to make a cube, the first thing I'm going to draw absolutely is going to be the corner. I'm always going to start with that vertical line. Then, lines that are parallel, running away from me to the right of this corner, well, they're going to run to the right vanishing point. The right vanishing point right there. Whereas lines running away from me to the left will run to the left vanishing point. They'll report to here. All right? Then I can just choose where I want to cut them off. I could cut them off here for a long rectangle or short. All right? There we go. Maybe I could make this side a little thinner. And then I can create objects out of these with this extra level of dimension and realism. So for example, let's make a TV. See, notice even the screen, because those lines that create the frame of the screen are parallel with the top and bottom. Well, they too report to the vanishing point. And because they're to the right of this corner, those right parallel lines report to the right vanishing point. Whereas if I needed a little extra space for the console in the back, the wires, well, these parallel lines are to the left of our little corner, right? So they're going to the left vanishing point, like so. Okay, even this little ventilation. See, parallel lines. And even the antenna. This one's going to be a little shorter than the other, and on this sort of line that reports to the vanishing point, because this side will look shorter due to perspective. So, right? So that's how I would create objects. And the idea is, when you want to get more complex objects, you essentially carve away from a basic shape. So, say I wanted to make like a cylinder or a letter of my name, like an N. Well, I might start with my vertical line, the width on the left, and the width on the right. But then I would carve away. So say I want to make my N here. All right, not bad. Then this point, well, I know that this line, on the right side of the N, is going to be parallel with this guy, you know, for the same reason that when I'm looking at an N straight on, you know, you can tell which lines are parallel. I know that this line running away to create the width of the N is going to report to the same vanishing point as this line. So, bam. Same here. So then, to create a more complex shape, well, I'm kind of just carving in to my basic block, almost like a carving from a chunk of wood, and just striving for consistency. Okay? Now, if I had my two vanishing points, and my object was below, well, see if I put a corner below or above, something interesting happens. Same rules apply, but now think of a box, or a square in this case. Of course, the lines opposite one another are parallel. So I'm going to do a top now, right? These are the sides, the planes that we saw before in our box, but now I've got a ceiling. So I know that the line opposite this one right here, well, it's going to be parallel to its partner. And again, if lines are parallel, they always report to the same vanishing point. So that means this little guy is going to report here to the right vanishing point because this line reports to the right vanishing point. And this little guy's partner is going to report to the left vanishing point because he reports to the left vanishing point. Right? So bam. The same would be true if I had this object hovering above the horizon line. I would sort of see the underbelly of it, its basement, if you will. Right? So any more complex object than this, and you would always sort of carve into it. Okay? Those are the basics. Check out the next video for a little bit of advanced instruction.